All right. Yeah, Markdown. All right, cool. Done and dusted. All right, cool. It's all there. Good to go. And I need to figure out this. Okay, that's right. Okay, cool. So how are we doing, everyone? Let me just check everything is running. Hope everyone's having a great week. Okay. Oh. All right, we'll be getting started very soon. Just give me a moment to set everything up on my end. All right, let me make sure I can hear myself and I'm coming in nice and loud. Perfect. Okay. I can hear myself, which is great. All right, so we've got that sorted out. Now I've got this sorted out. And then what is it? This bit, don't need that. Close anyway. Got that. This bit of code. Okay. So what are we doing here? Okay. Oh, what a week. What a week. Well, it was a DrupalCon this week, which was good. And I actually saw a screenshot of a project I've been working on in Dries' keynote, which is good. One of the sites on the site templates on the marketplace, which is good. All right, so that's all sorted out. That's all sorted out. I'm going to be checking that. Yep. And last but not least, I will have to pop this out. And I do need to probably use one of the Restream. Restream must have some type of, what is it, plugin for OBS, just so I can see the comments easily. I don't know, we'll see. I do need a third monitor. I feel like it's always a needer. But then I don't have the room for it and I'll lose myself every single time. Lose the mouse, essentially. All right, it's time for a bit of fun. Markdown. I do like Markdown. Like me some Markdown. Okay, cool. So, where are we? Oh, yes, we need to do, what is it? What do I normally do? Blue Sky. Pop this on the socials. Going live. Yep. Let's just pop this over here. Going live. And I'll pop this over there and we're good to go. Maybe I'll pop this into the LinkedIn as well. Where is this? Let's give this a go. Cool. And Markdown. All right, cool. That is all sorted out. Right. First comment. You good? Question mark. Yes, I'm fine. Are you good? Yes. I'm well. Thank you. Yes, I'm well. Cool. All right. Where are we? Okay, let's jump over, switch the feed to What's Drupal, by the way? Drupal is an open source content management system, just like WordPress. So you're looking to manage content in a specific way, then yeah, Drupal is the solution for you. Yeah, just why don't you check out Drupal.org for more details. There you go, check it out. And also check out my other videos. Actually, you know what? I don't think I've actually got a getting started with Drupal, like just getting started with Drupal video. Maybe I need to do one. That's a good question. I don't think I've actually set one up. I just assume people know what Drupal is. Thank you for that. Made me think that question. But yeah, if you want to use Drupal to manage content similar to WordPress, then check it out. All right. Now I have another one on, hey, LinkedIn. Cool. Where are we? Where's the LinkedIn? Ah, there we go. All right. Close that. Why is this here? All right, let me refresh that and jump in. And I cannot, oh, there we go. All right, cool. Okay, awesome. Let's get this party started. Oh, before I start, I need to start recording everything. Oh, nearly forgot that. Oh, apologies. Oh. Okay, I'm gonna have to sort this out quickly. Do live stream, do that one, do that video. Am I doing the right one? Yeah, cool. There we go. All right. I always record two versions just in case one fails, but I use the one in OBS, which is I use for recording anyway. All right, so we might as well just jump straight into it. So using Markdown in Drupal, what are your options? Because Markdown nowadays, thanks to AI and, well, yeah, mostly AI, has become popular again. I don't want to say, it never really died down, but, I've known about Markdown for a very long time. I've written a lot of website content in Markdown, but then editors got really, really good. And then this thing called AI came along, and now the best way to work with AI and give it content and get content outputted and moving content around between different platforms is by exporting it out using AI. Okay, and that's where Markdown really helps, because Markdown is a lot leaner than, say, direct HTML, so you save money in tokens. So tonight, I want to show you how to use Markdown in Drupal in a few different ways. So we're first going to take a look at how to add Markdown into the text editor and just get Drupal to convert that Markdown into HTML. And we're going to take a look at the Markdown module, which is a perfect name for a module. And I do believe this isn't the correct project page. Where is the project page? Let me go to direct project / what is it, Markdown. That's the documentation page. But I do often say usability of a module starts with the name. So if you want to set up Markdown in Drupal, then look at Markdown, okay? Then we're going to take a look at Markdown Easy, which allows you to set up similar functionality to the Markdown module, but just in an easier and quicker way. And then we're going to take a look at how to use Markdown in CKEditor, because Drupal offers automatic Markdown formatting in CKEditor, which you can use to quickly write your content using Markdown, but it just converts it into HTML. And CKEditor supports that out of the box. But then you do have this module and this feature in particular, which is my favorite one, paste Markdown, which means you can grab things such as Google Docs and simply copy as Markdown and paste it into Drupal, and it just formats it for you, which is great. And then we're going to take a look at a more AI focused stuff. We're not looking at AI in general, but just, this common thing of being able to access all your pages in a Markdown format, which is useful if you want to consume and move content around. And we'll look at Markify content, and then we'll also look at this LLMS.txt, which is becoming kind of a standard that a lot of websites have, that you can give AI agents just some context about your website. So before we begin, let me just check out the comments here. So we've got one in YouTube. Hi everyone, I probably won't catch this live as I've got another appointment, but looking forward to catching up later. Don't worry. Anyway, no, that is okay. You can always watch it after the fact. So no, that is okay. All right. So before we begin, let's just quickly talk about what Markdown is. Okay. So Markdown, and I should have set this up a lot better. Do I even have? Let's have a look at the first one. So Markdown. So Markdown is just essentially a syntax. Getting started, everything you need to learn about Markdown. And what it allows you to do is that it allows you to format text. Instead of writing HTML, you kind of format it in an easy way. So things like this example right here. Two asterisks can make things bold. A heading 1 is just a hash, or 2 hashes is a heading 2. Links are kind of in a standard way of doing things. You can also see here an example as well. If you want a list item, tables are done in a particular way. And the whole point is that when you look at the code, it is easy to understand. It's not just a whole bunch of HTML. Now, I've been a web developer for a long time, and trust me, I've looked at a lot of HTML, but I don't want to work in HTML and write content in HTML. This is where Markdown becomes very, very useful. And I know myself personally, I've started to use Claude Code to manage a lot of these live streams, especially generating captions from these live streams and things like that. And I always get it to output it and save it as Markdown, because then it's easier to work with. Okay, so there are a lot of benefits with using Markdown. And I remember when WebWash first started, I was writing content in Markdown. And now even in, Google Docs, you can, let me bring it out. So here is my main notes tool that I use during the live stream. But what you can do is you can easily come in here, copy paste, and copy as Markdown. And you can paste as Markdown as well. So Markdown is everywhere. Absolutely. So that's a bit of a quick overview of what Markdown is. But now let's take a look at setting up the Markdown module, and specifically copying and writing in Markdown and then outputting out as HTML. So the first thing you want to do is learn about the module. And this Markdown module abstracts the parser, okay? And it does things in typical Drupal fashion. So of course, you have to first of all decide which library you want to use. So out of the box, this doesn't come with much. It just comes with the module, but then you need to download the parser yourself. So what we're going to do is we're first going to come down here and grab, this is a bit confusing at first. One is 3.0.1, the other one is 3.1.0. Okay, let's just grab that, and I will 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. I always like to count this up, so I've got a standard zoom. All right. So because I'm using DDev, I'm going to just run composer require and then Drupal/Markdown. And it's just going to go ahead and download it. Now, for some reason, they don't download one of these libraries, which they can, but they don't do it in the composer. So if we jump over to our Drupal site and go to extend and search for Markdown, we will see just one module. I love that. I love the fact there's only one module. Don't make me think There's nothing more annoying than getting bombarded with like 25 submodules. And it's like, okay, which one do I need to install? Which one do I need to do? It's all that stuff. All right, once you've installed it, you want to go to configuration and you should see Markdown somewhere here. This page always confuses me. Is it here? I think I did see it. Oh, there we go. Markdown, okay? Up the top here, content authoring. And if you click on this, it will download now. Okay. Out of the box, it doesn't come downloaded, but I already had this installed because I was testing this stuff out earlier. So apologies for that. So what you want to do is I will quickly remove, where is it? Up the top here. Oh, this one. So let me go ahead and simply remove it first and give it a moment. So what you want to do is if I come in here and refresh, and I probably need to clear the cache. And refresh, yep, you'll see that we have nothing here, okay? Nothing is available. And if we go to the README, so let me go into modules, contrib, markdown, and README. It does recommend that we use this CommonMark, okay? So that is, where is this? CommonMark up the top here. And you can just grab it using this composer command. I think you can put the version 2 on it, but it will just get the latest. So I'll come along in here, ddev composer. I'm going to go there. I'm going to download everything for us, and it's downloading the latest version 2.8. Perfect. And if we come in here, refresh, we then need to, of course, clear the cache as usual. So drush cr, come along in here, refresh, and we're done. Okay. And that's how easy it was to set up. Now you do have other options. All right. You do have other options to set other parsers to use, but this one is the recommended one. Then if you go in edits, you can switch on certain features. So you do have the core Markdown functionality, if you'll call it that, the syntax. But then you have things like GitHub has its own type of syntax for the issues, and I think even commits and all that. But from this page, you can turn on extra features. So you can turn on stuff such as task list, table of contents, table, strike through. I would say strike through is actually a common one. Okay. And you also have mentions. I haven't really played around with that. Yeah. Footnotes. Markdown is surprisingly powerful. I know back in the day, long time ago, when I was writing a lot of text tutorials, I wanted to write books on using Drupal. I actually wrote like a 30-page kind of like a long form tutorial on using Drupal. Never posted it anyway. Never posted it, but in Markdown, that was a fun experience. Anyway, so as you can see here, there are a lot of features you can turn on, but let's just leave this for now. And what we need to do to actually use this, we need to create a new text format. Okay, so if we go back to configuration and click on text formats and editors, we need to create a brand new one. Now, out of the box, Drupal comes with, I think, what is it? Four text formats. And what a text format is that it essentially sanitizes and cleans up any inputted text or content. And this is something that you should always do. You should never, ever let a editor or any type of untrusted user or any user, okay? Because at the end of the day, a trusted user can become untrusted if their account is compromised, but you should never let anyone just save any type of content and then it just gets rendered out. Because you can, somebody can put in some malicious HTML, some malicious JavaScript and things like that. So a text format allows you to control the editor if you're going to use CKEditor. And then on top of that, it sanitizes and cleans out the HTML or the code that you can enter in and also what gets rendered out. So in this example, we're going to have to create a new one. So let's create a new text format, and I'll call this one Markdown because I know for the next module, it's going to create one called Markdown on its own. And we're not going to use a text editor because we're just going to leave that set to none. But we do have these filters, okay? And we're going to switch on Markdown filter. And at this point, we only have a single filter, which is just Markdown. But generally, if we go back to text formats and editors and then click on, say, basic HTML, you'll see that we have CKEditor turned on. But then more importantly, we have all of these filters. And these filters are used to sanitize and clean out your content. And you can also control the ordering of these filters. And there is a bit of magic involved when it comes to organizing these and configuring them, because sometimes you may introduce some type of weird bug where one filter overrides or cleans out a feature of another filter. So you need to adjust the ordering. Yeah. I've spent a lot of hours on this screen. Not so much in Drupal, 8, 9, and 10, 11, but mostly in Drupal 7. There was a lot of configuration when it came to that stuff. But in our case, all we need to do is configure this. And then if we scroll all the way down, we can see our options right here. And we can, let me make sure my head's not in the way. No, it's not. Okay, cool. If you click on the parser, you can select your different parser, but we'll just keep it as it is. And then you can turn on or off features just for this, what is it? Text field or text format. So once everything is configured, let's click on save, go to test page. And what I'll do is let me get a bit of content, because I do have a bit of content right here. And if I if I paste this bit of Markdown in CKEditor, it looks like this. It looks terrible, okay? But if I switch this now over to Markdown, it's already formatted. Well, that's pretty good actually. But if I paste it, oh no, you'll see this P tag above and below. Is that it? Yeah, where is it? There it is. All right. Now, if we paste it, we get standard Markdown, and this is coming from Google Docs. So this is actually part of the Search API tutorial that I wrote. And if we save it, well, let me put in Search API, click on save, and we do get this nicely rendered HTML. And it works surprisingly well. You can see that the text filters the code blocks being sorted out. It looks nice. This actually looks pretty good. And if we click on edit, we can come along in here. We can make our changes, and that's it. Okay. So that was pretty simple to set up. Now let's go ahead and configure a few more things. So if we go to configuration, Markdown, and what we can do, let's turn on the task list, tables, and strikethroughs. So all of that's been set up. Let's click on Save Configuration. And now if we refresh and let's put in a strikethrough is this one. There we go. And what is, I totally forgot. There is an example. There are examples here. Was it task list? Oh, there we go. I want that one and a table just so I can grab that. All right, so task list example will be something like this. Grab that out. Let's create a task list. There you go. Now a task list like that. And if we grab a table, let me just grab the syntax. Copy this across. And we are done. So now if we click on save, hopefully everything hasn't been switched on. All right, cool. Let's now take a look and see what has happened. All right, so it's been enabled here. It's been enabled here and here. All right, now let's make sure our Markdown has been configured. So come along in here, rendered out. It should just inherit site-wide settings. Let's see if we need to clear the cache. Probably. Always have to clear the cache. Then we come back here. Let's take a look at this one, because this gives us a few options here. So Markdown, restricted. And then if we let's just go through this, click on save, and it's still not working. Why is that? So chances are you need to place it. Let's have a quick look here. This one's working, that one's working, that one's working. All right, let's go back here and let's just set it at the, I guess you need just need to set up here. I thought it would inherit, but anyway. So we'll select extensions disabled. And then we'll come along in here, hit save. Let's go back and edit. And we save that. There we go. All right, so I guess you need to do it that way. So here we've got our strike through. And then we've got our tasks. Of course, you can't actually select them. You need to just check them off. And then we've got our table right here. Okay. And that's how easy it is to set it up. So you want to first of all download Markdown, the module, download the libraries, configure the libraries, and then create your text format. And that's it. Now, before we jump on to the next one, let's quickly just fix this up because I know I need to uninstall this. Let's just save that. Let's go here. Disable that one. And let's go. I think we can uninstall it, can we? Markdown. And there we go. All right. Let's uninstall it. Just so that we don't have any issues. Now, the next module we're going to take a look at is called Markdown Easy. Now, this one is kind of a competitor to Markdown, but the benefit of using this module is that it is much easier to set up. It just assumes that you are going to use the CommonMark library, and I do believe it passes it down in its composer.json, so it has it set up as a dependency, and it is just you download it and you're good. You're pretty much good to go straight away. It's very easy to set up. So what we're going to do is simply download version 2. So I'll go here. Now, because we've already downloaded the library, it's not going to download it because we used that CommonMark in a previous module. So that's already set up. But I do believe if you come along in here, source, and let's go to Composer, you should see it as a requirement. There you go. It's right here. It is set up as a requirement. All right. Let's clean this stuff up. And if we go to extend and search for Markdown Easy, we've got it right here. And let's click on install. And we're done. And then if we go to configuration, text formats editors, we do get this Markdown filter. That's why I wanted to select Markdown. That's why I chose that name, because I knew we were going to get one called Markdown. And that's it. It's been configured for us. As you can see, you know, it is easy to set up, hence the name Markdown Easy. And this format, this text format has 2 filters, of course, Markdown Easy, and also limit allowed HTML tags. So it's important that you configure this. So if you come along in here and you use the standard or the smorgasbord, I guess that's everything, and then or the GitHub flavored one, you want to make sure that you add these options into limit allowed HTML. So you can see right here, let me zoom that in a little bit. Apologies for that. You can see right here, we have a few elements that need to be added. So normally I just throw them in there, and generally Drupal does a pretty good job of figuring it out, even if there are duplicates. It doesn't complain about it. I actually thought it might complain, but it doesn't. Does it actually clean it up? Not quite. So I mean, you could go and go step by step and fix it up, but we're not going to worry about that for now. And then we just go to content. And if I change this to Markdown, what's going to happen? Well, yeah, it's going to be terrible. But if I grab this bit of Markdown again and paste it, and then click on save, we get, again, just a nicely formatted page because it has simply converted it over to HTML, and that's it. So if you are going to use Markdown, it's up to you. If you're just going to use standard Markdown, honestly, just use Markdown Easy. It's quick and easy to set up, and it takes less than 1 minute to configure it, which is great. So at this point, we've looked at 2 modules, and we've looked at two modules that allow us to enter Markdown into Drupal, but they render that Markdown into HTML. Now let's take a look at what functionality we get out of the box with CKEditor and Markdown. So CKEditor has the ability to auto format. Well, how can I say? It allows you to format your HTML using Markdown. Okay. And what I mean by that is, let's just go into here. So if I go to this test article, okay, and I've got all of these buttons, okay, what I can do is I can put in 2 hashes and hit space, and it's automatically going to switch it over to an H2. So you can use Markdown to kind of auto create your HTML. And I do believe that things like Notion and Google Docs do similar things, and it's actually pretty useful. Instead of having to say, coming up the top here, clicking H2, then typing, and then being like, again, grabbing the mouse, selecting an H3, it does kind of slow you down. Instead, what you can do is just put in like 3 hashes, done, space, and then you can start typing, and then, or an H2. Now, if you wanted to put in an H1, you can't. And the reason for that is CKEditor is smart enough to know what elements are allowed to be displayed. So it won't allow you to create that element using Markdown if you aren't allowed to render it. So for example, the H1 isn't allowed here. We can only add in a paragraph and then H2 to H6. So that's why we're not allowed. But we can also chuck in some HTML right here. And instead of, clicking on bold, you can then put in asterisks. Wait, what's that? Oh, that's italics. Then double asterisks. Well, and then that does that. If you want to do ordered list, you can do that just by putting in a 1, or if you do asterisks and then as an unordered list. And I do believe you've also got, what is it? You do that one, that gives you a block quote. And if we switch over to full HTML, because we have now more options, we can put in tables, but more importantly, we can put in a code block. Now, the best way of doing that is just by putting in this character and then just typing it in, okay? And you just do that and you're done, okay? I actually totally forgot what this character is. What is that? What's this? I forgot the name of it. Character. Backtick. Thank you, AI. Oh, I'm terrible. Grave accent, really? Yeah, backtick, that's right. Totally forgot. Oh, it's been a long week. It's been a long week. Oh, yeah. There you go. If you put a backtick, like 2 backticks, but that is pretty much a common thing for writing Markdown. Because when I do my prompt engineering or any type of development, really, I do emphasize I do emphasize code snippets by using the backtick. So you can also do things such as like just highlight and wrap a word as code. So you can be typing in, yes, click here, click there, and then modify the README file. So you can say like read.me.md. And does that work? No, that doesn't work. I thought that would work. Oh, why doesn't that work? I honestly thought that would work. All right, let's do that. Oh, that works. Why does that one work on this text format, but the 2 backticks don't? Interesting. But also you can do the same thing in Slack if you're not aware of that. Slack also, I think Notion as well, you can do the same thing. Okay. And this was all put in Drupal core. Well, it was switched on for Drupal core in, where's the issue? It's right here in this change. Oh, 2023. Okay. So auto formatting. Yeah. It's just a it's a feature of CKEditor 5, which is a auto format, and you can see all the extra options that you get. And there you go. So that's on by default, but just remember that you can only add in markup that is allowed. So an H1 will only be available if it's actually allowed. Oh, unordered list is a dash as well. Okay. Learned something new, is it? Oh yeah, there you go. I always learn new things here. So at this point, we are simply converting Markdown into HTML as we are typing it. But what happens now if we want to paste in a whole bunch of Markdown but haven't converted into HTML? Because let's say you're editing your content in Google Docs and you want to copy it across. So for example, again, let me bring out my epic long tutorial. And this tutorial is live on WebWash. You can see I've done all the formatting here. And back in the day, I would manually copy this across and reformat it. You see all of these options right here, okay? So if I go ahead and grab all of this, so that's 18 pages, that's a lot of content. If I grab all of this and go, okay, I could do this, go copy that and just paste it in. But the problem is, let's take a look at the markup. The source, yeah, see, it adds all things like this. You could kind of clean this up. Yeah, it does too much stuff. But instead, what we're going to do is we're going to put in the ability to paste Markdown, and it automatically gets converted. Because if we now paste in Markdown, it just looks like that. It's not that useful. Or if we go, what is it? Command Shift, it's going to paste it like that, but it doesn't convert it. Okay. Now to implement that functionality, what we need to do is download the CKEditor 5 plugin pack. And this module comes with a lot of submodules. And the one that we want to use is Paste Markdown. So all we need to do is come down, right down to the bottom and download the most recent version. And what I'll do is type in ddev. And then we go back into our Drupal site, type in CKEditor, And you will see that you do have a lot of submodules. And I do recommend that if you do like CKEditor or you are using it, to check out some of these modules because they do add in some decent functionality. So these premium features, you need to pay for it, but the ones above, you don't. So where is Markdown paste? Oh, paste from Markdown, sorry. There we go. Paste from Markdown. And then click on install. And you get this little notification. And what you need to do is configure it on an actual text format. So let's add it to full HTML. And you've got this paste Markdown right here. And you enable it. And that's it. And now if we go to create, test article, and if we select basic HTML, again, we're just going to see a big mess of text. But if we select full HTML, which we switched it on, and paste it, it automatically formats it for us, which is an absolute time saver. Trust me, it is an absolute time saver. And that's it. Go along in here, make your changes, save it, and you're done. So if you use Markdown to write your content and you want to paste it into Drupal or CKEditor, then I'd highly recommend that you check out the submodule and install the CKEditor 5 plugin. What is this? What's it called? Plugin pack, and then install the paste Markdown. Now, this is a feature of CKEditor 5. You can install it. Like, even if you're using CKEditor in some other system and not even using Drupal, you can go ahead and enable it. It just needs to be enabled. But as I said, you do have some pretty cool features here. Not sure what emoji is. Bookmarks, well, that's okay. Oh, I do wonder what this auto image is. I need to take a look at that. Find and replace, pretty cool. Highlight. I have covered CKEditor in detail in other live streams, so check it out. I do recommend that you check it out. Okay, so we've looked at Markdown and CKEditor. Now let's take a look at two modules that have become popular only in the last year or two. And the first module we're going to take a look at is called Markdownify Content. This allows us to Markdownify, essentially, our content. So we have our standard Drupal site with all of our awesome content. And now we want to expose that content as Markdown because it is a common way for AI and agents to consume content. Now, there's been a lot of discussion about is this a good thing that agents can just view your Markdown, because traffic has dropped. Yeah, like actual traffic to websites has dropped a lot in the last year or two on a lot of websites. I've heard some crazy statistics that some of the popular blogs of the tech blogs of the last 15 years have lost like 50% of their traffic because no one really searches things. They use AI for everything. So it's up to you if you want to use it. But if you are looking for this bit of functionality, then check out Markify Content, because the benefit of that is if you send an agent to read this blog post, there is a lot of markup which isn't really necessary. So you can imagine that you'll be blowing through a lot of tokens just by reading out all the P tags, the heading tags, strong, and so on and so forth. And what Markdownify allows you to do is it allows you to then access the Markdown version of the content just by changing the route. So what we're going to do is, first of all, come down here and install it. Let me just clear this. Go ddev composer require Markdownify. And he does download one library. And then if we go to our Drupal site and search for Markdownify, we do have a few modules here, but let's just focus on the first one. What we can do is just install it. And if you go to configuration, you should see it somewhere here. Where is it? Markdownify. And you can control which content can be converted to Markdown. And so we'll just leave content as it is. And you do have some extra features. But generally, if you leave it as it is, it works pretty well. So to generate an actual Markdown version, all we need to do is go to the end and type in .md. And straight away, that generates a Markdown version of it. No, that's interesting. I didn't actually notice this. Right down at the bottom, you can see the different. Oh, what is that? Oh, okay. The filters and tips like that. Now you can also access this by putting in, what is it? Question mark underscore format equals Markdown. And that will do the same thing as well. So if I was to remove this, we can see the full HTML version. If I throw this in, we can then see the Markdown version. The other thing you can do is place in Markdownify. Did I spell this right? And also access it that way as well. Okay. And if you want, you can also do a curl request. Well, of course you can do a curl request, but this is another way of getting agents to consume content is if we have this curl request and then you say accept text /markdown, and we put into, it's going to then just generate the Markdown version of it. So you can point your skills or your Claude Code or Codex, whatever you use to consume the content that way. Now, one thing to be aware of, if we go back to our site and we add an alias, test article, well, needs to start with a slash. And if we type in .md at the end, we get this error. And the reason for that is we need to install one extra module. Well, let me go back here, go to extend. And if we search for, what is it? Markdownify path alias. And also let's install views pages because that's a pretty cool one. What this allows us to do is we can now put in .md at the end. And now we can access the Markdown version of it. So chances are you should have the alias path submodule, or what's it called? Markdown. You should have this, path alias module, no matter what installed, because you're always going to have your URL aliases. I don't think I've ever seen a site. No, I have seen a very popular site that had node /123 there. They're probably not Drupal anymore, but they used to have it that way. And I remember going to that site and seeing it. It's like, oh, that's Drupal site. Yes. Now, the other module that we installed is called views pages. So Markdownify views pages. What that allows you to do is that allows you to, again, do the same thing where you can put in a .md at the end of a page view and it'll convert it to Markdown. So if we take a look at this, say, homepage, So if we go to the home page, you can see we've got one piece of content, but let's fix that up and add the other content. Well, actually, let's just create another test article, another test article. Let's pop this in, promote it to the home page. Then if we go to /node, this is the home page. But if we put in so this is the view. If we put in a .md, we will get then a markdown version of all of that content. So yeah, I mean, this makes it very easy to expose. I've just got an idea now. I could probably put a lot of content in a Drupal site and then expose it as context for Claude Code when he generates or repurposes content for me. Got a few ideas. I do have a few ideas. Maybe I'll give it a go. Maybe I will give it a go. So as you can see, if you need to expose your content using Markdown, then take a look at this Markdownify. It is a very, very good module. Now, where is this? Like, this was created February last year, so it's a fresh module. Yeah, it is part of the AI ecosystem. Absolutely. Absolutely. Now, the last module we're going to take a look at is called LLMS. I say that 10,000 times. LLMS.txt. Now, this is a standard which I've noticed appearing, where a lot of front-end libraries have a LLMS.txt file that just explains to agents what the website is about. And you can do a similar thing for your Drupal site. So if I had a Drupal site, I could create one of these, and then hopefully agents will automatically check the LLMS.txt and get context about your website. Now, setting this stuff up is relatively simple. All you need to do is come along and download it. So I'll go ahead and download it. So what is it? ddev composer require, and then Drupal LLMS_text goes ahead and downloads it. Perfect. And if we go to extend and search for the module name, click on install, it is installed. And again, there's only one module. Thank goodness. Only one module to deal with. I love it. Then you want to go to content, and you should see this tab right here. Now, we do not have a slogan, but if we do go to, if we click on save, we will get an actual path. Now, right now, it's just called #markdown because that's the name of my site, but we do not have a slogan. So let's quickly put in a slogan. My awesome Markdown site. Then if we refresh, there you go. We've got that information right there. So you can come along in here and put in as much information as you want. Users, WordPress, there you go. Really confuse people. The other thing you can do is if you click on these sections, you can add in bits and sections. And this simply gets aggregated into the single Markdown text. All right, so we've got a comment here. Just saying hello on holiday, so getting your stream during the daytime. Oh, interesting. The daytime, okay. Well, you shouldn't be watching this stream on your holidays. Go enjoy your holidays. Go and enjoy it. But thank you But thanks for stopping by. There you go. Now, if we click on add section and then put in a bit of text here, so we can say, you know, content context, and then just add in, we could add in some type of content and click on save. And then if we refresh, you'll notice that HTML is still being added. Now, why is that? Well, the reason for that is if we go and edit this, we still have this text editor, okay? Now, we can switch this over to restricted. Is it restricted HTML? No, because this will, I do believe, will this change it? Yeah, see, this still puts in HTML. So we do not want any HTML. The comment, good advice, see you. Yes, enjoy your holiday, enjoy it. So you can see that HTML is still getting added. And, you know, is it going to break the internet? No, it's not. Absolutely not. But there is a fix for this. What you can do is create another text format, essentially. That's what it is. It's all about the text formats. So come to configuration, go, where's the text formats editors? And we want to create another one. And this one we can call Markdown. And let's call it no HTML. Select that administrator. And you want to then select display any HTML as plain text. And now if we come along in here and then switch this to, not that one, Markdown, no HTML, that means there's absolutely nothing, okay? And come along in here. And we can just display it as plain text. Right, where's that page? Click on here, and now it's a lot cleaner, okay? It's gone ahead and it has cleaned everything up. So that is a nice little workaround when it comes to it, okay? So that's pretty much it. You know, how long have we been going for? About an hour. Okay, good. All right, good. So when it comes to managing Markdown in Drupal, okay, you do have the Markdown module, and that's for putting Markdown in, getting HTML out. Okay, you have the Markdown module. You have Markdown Easy for, again, putting an HTML in and getting Markdown out. Then we have CKEditor, where we can paste in Markdown, and also auto format Markdown into HTML. And then to expose our content, we have Markdownify Content for displaying the content, displaying articles in Markdown, and also if you want to generate a LLMS.txt, you can do so using this module. So yeah, that's pretty much it for tonight. Thanks everyone for joining. And I actually forgot to mention the ad. Apologies. If you want to learn more about Drupal, head over to WebWash.net. And I've had some great conversations now in the community. There is a premium community, and starting to get a few more people in there, which is great. And I also started to, and what I'm doing is I'm starting to now put on a lot of these live streams in as these courses. Originally, I was separating each live stream into a separate course, but I thought, nah, it's going to take way too long. So now you can see a lot of these older live streams are now in here. So here for content and stuff like that, you do have a lot of these live streams, and they go on, and these live streams are editor down slightly and 0 ads. And I am going to fix this up and actually make this a lot more nicer. But I do plan to get a lot of these live streams out onto the platform. So if you want to join the channel and support the channel and also get access to me in the forums, check out the lifetime access for 99 euros. Anyway, if you have any questions, leave a comment. If you have any ideas for any other future ones, any other future live streams, please let me know. Anyway, thank you all for joining. I'll catch you all next week. All right. Where were we? All right, cool. So a few comments here. All right, thanks for joining. All right, thanks. As usual, I learned a lot, although I joined halfway through. That's all right. You can always watch the videos. These videos will always be available. That's cool. Another comment in YouTube. Hello. Well, hello there. How you doing? Well, I will be sticking around for a bit if anyone wants to chat. I'm always up for a chit chat. But yeah, Markdown has played a huge part, especially in the last like a year or two, with the stuff that I've been doing with like content and a lot of this content stuff. Because I do know, let me, where is it? Yeah, if I bring this up, let me bring up, oh, not that one. One moment. No, I do have like a lot of this loud. Oh, go away. Yeah, here we go. So I've got like this epic, pretty full on. So here is my control center, my content control center, essentially. And I've been meaning to kind of clean this up, and I wouldn't mind doing a blog post about it or something. But essentially what this does is that this is a lot of the live streams. It's not all of them, but essentially it's a lot of the live streams. But it's not really Markdown. It's actually in XML in a way, but I am thinking of converting it all over to Markdown just so I can then use Obsidian or something. But what it does is that like I store the SRT file, so the caption, and then it generates automatically the chapters. Then it will also grab in extra context about the live stream, and then I use this to then create content for like a possible blog post. And then of course I go in there and clean up the blog post a lot. I actually rewrite a lot of it, but you can see all of this is Markdown. And it's actually interesting where I do spend a fair bit of time just writing in here. And then lately what I've been doing to get these actual courses online is I do have this setup where I'm using Claude Code to find a lot of these files, like the OBS, a lot of the OBS stuff that gets generated, and it actually trims the videos using FFmpeg. It actually works pretty well. So again, this is all Markdown. It generates a lot of this stuff for me. And then I've started to use then the Google Workspace CLI to then grab that file and then upload it into Google Drive so I don't have to do anything manually. And it even uploads it into Vimeo and uploads it into the WebWash website as well. And also sets the chapter markers as well. Yeah, does a lot of stuff. And I'm slowly going through and then uploading it. And you know, I don't want this to be another plug or anything, but a lot of this stuff here was just automatically, well, not that one because I did that was the first one, but say for this one, for example, yep, web form, all of these live streams were automated. So the cutting, the trimming. So essentially what happens is I've got this, I need to clean this up, but it has like these epic steps and I pretty much tell it. There's probably a better way of doing this, but this kind of works. But you can see here, I've got / commands for trimming a live stream, extracting a blog, publishing, getting chapters, generating blog posts from captions, social media posts from captions, transcribe. Oh, that's the other thing. I got it to transcribe. I got it to actually transcribe using Whisper. And it does a pretty good job. Just kind of automate everything. And you can see that this whole manifest file, and it even searches my file system for a lot of these files, because I've got like 0.5 terabyte of just videos that I'm slowly clearing up. Okay, using Tome for documentation. It's on GitHub. Oh, Tome. Yeah, I've heard about that. That's actually pretty cool. So Drupal Tome, that is a static site generator. And yeah, this one's actually pretty cool. I've heard about that. Yeah, Parsmind. Oh, yeah, absolutely. Parses Markdown into really nice documentation sites. I was actually thinking of using Tome for like a project that I want to work on. Essentially, what I want to do is I've been thinking of building some type of SaaS application, because I know this happens to me. It's like I've got all this content on YouTube, and I want to create like a mini site with my YouTube content. So I was thinking, have a Drupal site that allows you to log in with your YouTube account, and then you can select which videos that you want displayed into your little microsite, but then use Tome to generate a static version of the site, because you don't want traffic coming into the main Drupal site. And then you can easily automate the process of generating a output of the site and then uploading that into, say, S3 bucket or something. Okay, comment from LinkedIn, arrived late. Will the recording be available on YouTube? Well, the recording, yes, it will be. The recording's still going. So yeah, just watch from here. Let me give it here. Wait, where's the comments? Wait, where'd that comment go? Here we go. We're still going. There you go. Here's the link. We're still going. So yeah, recordings are always available after the fact. But yeah, the other one when it comes to Markdown, what is it? Gitbook. Gitbook's pretty cool. That's if you want that stuff. But the other thing that I've also been working on and I've really enjoyed is using Astro. Especially for building out, what is it? Like prototype or demo sites. Because Astro it gives you a certain level of, it is a proper website, but if you use the vanilla, whatever Astro is, like, it is kind of like a JSX style, but it's not React. It's the most HTML, non-HTML syntax. Well, I think it is pretty much HTML, and I've actually used Astro to build out kind of like mock-ups for websites, which I now want to look at converting into Drupal. I was thinking of doing it for one of the streams. So if let me quickly show you. Let me see if I've got it here. Astro, where is it? Where is it? More. Oh, here we go. Astro. Yeah, this one. Here we go. All right, cool. So what I did is, you can see that one thing I love about Astro.js. Oh, that's interesting. Yeah, Gitbooks gets expensive fast. That's why we look into free alternatives. Absolutely, yeah, absolutely. But Astro is actually pretty cool as well. I really like Astro, and I've been playing around with it a lot, because from a build standpoint, it's very simple to use. Absolutely simple to use. And it's just so simple. Like, your pages, everything just works. And you have bit of functionality up the top here if you want, and that's it. So like basic pages, I do love the fact that everything else is pretty much a components and just HTML. And you don't have to do the whole, class name like in React. And the good thing is that I can pretty much create mockups and prototypes in here and then just use this to then build out Drupal sites. Because what this does is this is actually a Daisy UI SaaS template. So if I run, what is it? npm run dev. Let's see if this, hopefully this will work. Cool. Copy that. Let me bring this up. Yeah, cool. So this is one thing I want to do and build this in Drupal. So this is just using vanilla Daisy UI. Okay, I was wanting to, all right, there's a comment here. Okay, I was wanting to make a website with that lets users search through transcripts of training videos and then have the user be able to go straight to the point in the video to start watching with videos hosted on Vimeo or a web server. All right. So there's a few things with that. Is that possible? Yes, it is. Vimeo. So Vimeo does transcribe videos for you, and you do get a transcription, and you can jump over. Now, from the player, from the actual Vimeo player, you can jump to specific sections. But essentially what you'll need to do is there's actually two parts to it. The first part is storing the data. So storing the transcript, first of all, getting an SRT file generated. So the SRT file is this stuff here. Let me just, do I have it? No, I don't. Let me bring it up. So it's important to, yeah, here we go. So the SRT file actually has time codes in it. So this is important, okay? It's got time codes in it. So essentially you want to store this stuff in Drupal, okay? You need to grab the SRT file, store it. Then what needs to happen is you need to be able to generate some type of functionality. So when the search results comes back, this is actually a very interesting topic. This is a very interesting topic. The way I'll do it is then in the search results, you need to generate a URL where you can actually pass in the time code into the URL and the player automatically picks it up and starts playing it. YouTube does similar things. So you just pass at a time. So what you could essentially do is index this data. Yeah. You will need to index this data. You search for it using Search API. You find a bit of information, then you click on it, and then it redirects you then off to the page. And then it just passes, say this time, through the URL, and then your player picks it up and starts playing. So there's really two parts to it. First of all, is it's indexing this and then redirecting the user, and then the second part is then putting in the functionality to read that time code that's getting passed through and then displaying it. I'm not sure if Vimeo does that out of the box. Now with local videos, with videos on a local server, it's going to be much harder because you need to transcribe things and do all that type of stuff, and it can get a bit annoying. Yes, yeah. Whisper local is crazy, almost magic at transcribing stuff. Absolutely, yeah. Whisper just works, especially with what is it, Python. So I've got a thing here. Where's my script that I got? Transcribe. Yeah, a skill. It actually uses, it uses FFmpeg. So So what this example does is that it will use, also FFmpeg is, amazing. It uses FFmpeg to convert a video into audio, and then it uses this transcribe Python. Now, I didn't write this code. I just got AI to write it, to generate it for me. And then it goes along in here and just generates it all for me. And I made sure that I'm using a medium-sized model so that it's about 1.5 gig. And you know, it does a pretty good job at picking up my funny accent. I think one time I've seen the transcripts just really hallucinate with like it was just using like a HE, like a he, like a massive, like big blob of text. I saw that. But this just goes ahead and just does it all for you. And does a pretty cool job at it. And then it processes, what does this do? Oh yeah, I also use FFmpeg to convert MKV files to MP4 because OBS recommends that you record files out of OBS using MKV, because if OBS crashes, then at least you don't get a corrupted file. Whereas if you record in MP4 and OBS crashes, you lose the whole file. Whereas with MP4, you lose the whole file. Whereas with MKV, if you record for an hour and then OBS crashes, you at least have the hour of content. And this stuff actually works pretty well. It's a simple command. And I was doing all of this by hand. It was such a pain. Like, it's such a tedious process, but this just does it all for me. Goes in there, does it, converts it to MP4, also renames it so I know straight away to delete the old one. And yeah, works pretty well. But yeah, the other thing I was kind of mentioning is that, yeah, this little SaaS application. Now, this is all using Astro. And it works, and it actually works pretty well. I'm pretty pleased with it. I did spend a fair bit of time fixing this stuff up, but I just want to use standard Daisy UI components. And now I want to somehow get this into like a Drupal theme. Look at that. That looks amazing. Up the top here, all this stuff works. Spent a fair bit of time. Even though I did use AI to kind of generate this, there's still a fair bit of cleaning up I had to do. It's not like I just you know, spun it up in 10 seconds. And then yeah, you can switch all the oh, that's terrible. Yeah, what is it? Corporate? That's pretty cool. I've got all this stuff. Look at that. Awesome. Oh yeah, FFmpeg is amazing. I've used FFmpeg to convert landscape videos into portrait videos, and it even adds in logos. It adds in 2 logos, a text as well. Like, you can use FFmpeg to generate images, because you essentially use, you know, you can get it to configure images for you, and then you just take one frame from it. It's amazing. It's powerful stuff. Yeah, this stuff actually looks pretty cool. I'm really pleased with this. Now, the tricky part is now converting this over to a Drupal theme. I wonder what that would look like. Come along in here. What is it? Reports. Some of these work, some of them don't. Oh, yeah, it does. Oh, I totally forgot that I got all this stuff working. So that comes in on the pop-up. Edit. There is a slide out somewhere. Where is it? Projects. Oh, yeah, projects. Edit. Oof, look at that. It looks nice. That looks nice. Yeah. Anyway, I feel like there's so many things I want to do, so many things I want to build out. Oh, I just don't have the time for it. So this is the stuff. The other thing I built using Astro, which is actually pretty cool. I'm thinking I might actually just put this online. Put it online, put it on GitHub or something. But what was the other thing? I did play around with some other stuff. Was it that one? No, it was. And let me close that off. This stuff is actually pretty cool. Astro. Yeah, directory. That's pretty cool. So again, this is just using Astro components and all of these islands, and it just makes life, like, to me, this is way cleaner than Next.js. So dev, and this is actually a full directory site. Which I want to build out. Again, I'm just using Daisy UI, just standard components for Daisy UI. Now, for people who don't know, Daisy UI sits on top of Tailwind, and it's just nice components. And the good thing is I can switch this to, what is a corporate, and you get this nice looking design. Okay, this stuff needs to be kind of cleaned up. I'm not really happy with this, but I do like all of these tabs. Now, again, it's like, how hard would this now be to implement as a Drupal site? That's the thing. That's what I want to implement. That's what I want to look at. I don't think it'll be that hard to implement. I say that now. And also I've got this whole little manage thing. Yeah, I need to clean this crap up. Look at this. Terrible. But yeah, this stuff doesn't look bad, actually. Yeah. The padding here is a bit, yeah, I'm not happy with that. That doesn't look bad. Looks okay. And what does that do? That goes there. Do I have a create button somewhere? Oh, I do. No, that needs to be cleaned up as well. Yeah. Oh, their question about Astro. No. These are, well, no. These are just static sites. But that's one thing I do want to cover is like, how hard now? Well, that's exactly the other thing. It's like, how hard would it be to now plug this up to a Drupal site where Drupal does this in a headless way? Because if I take a look here, all right, so I've got admin directories. There's so much stuff I need to clean up here, which I do want to clean up, especially components. I need to break things out into separate components. Because you can see here on the right-hand side, where is it? Theme? No, not that one. Yeah, I mean, this stuff needs to be all cleaned up into separate components. But exactly, how hard would this be now to pass in a directory and then hydrating this stuff using Drupal data? I don't think it'll be that hard. Honestly, I just need to sit down and do it. Because it's all here essentially. Like I've just got, and see, this is it. It's like Astro just makes it so much easier to understand. This is all the test data. It's all in here. It's just one big JSON object, because this is the mockup. Absolutely, it seems fun to do. Yeah, Astro is. I really don't know what Astro is. Like, is it a framework or is it a library? Because it's not like, it's got JSX style syntax, but it's not React. That's the thing. So all your classes aren't like, what is that class name? Because class is a reserved name. And I really don't, I'm too afraid to ask, like, what is it? I don't, so yeah. And it's good that the code up the top here, that's it, It's pretty cool. It's good stuff. And there's not much configuration. Like, that's pretty much it when it comes to compiling. And I specifically made sure that I didn't put any custom styling in it. And all I'm doing is importing in Tailwind and Daisy UI. That's it. It's a frame. Well, yeah. Frameberry. Well, exactly. You can choose then React on top of it. That's the thing I don't understand. It's like, so then what? Yeah, exactly. You can choose then React on top of it. So I don't know. It's like out of the box. Where is it? So pages, components. Where is it? The documentation's here somewhere. Docs. Yeah, you put React on top of it. Exactly. You put then Preact. You put Vue on top of it. So then what is it? It's not a framework. It is a framework. It's not a library. It is a library. I don't know. But I like it. Honestly, I do. I do. And there is Drupal J API CLI. What is it? No, what is it? Jeez, client? This one. I think this is it. I think this is it. Yeah. I think this is it. Drupal API client. This to me actually looks like Astro. Using with framework. See, there you go. See, this is good. This is awesome. Using with Astro. But the tricky part is going to be, does this hydrate? So when you build it, does it actually dynamically pull it in, or does it generate the pages in the back end? That's the thing. Anyway, oh man. There's so many live streams I want to do about this stuff. But the thing is, though, I need to prepare. I kind of need to like spend a bit of time. And I've been in Canvas land for like the last 2 months. I've been working with a great team, building out a Drupal Canvas based site template with recipes. And that stuff is all on the marketplace now. So it was a massive win. So I've been in like components and stuff like that. And I actually wouldn't mind doing a live stream about my experience using Canvas. There's been some good parts and there's been some bad parts. Well, I wouldn't say bad parts, but you know, there's some tricky parts. So, but yeah, this stuff's actually awesome. Awesome. Anyway, lots to cover, not enough time. Lots to cover. So many things I wanted to do. Just not enough time. Oh. Well, thank you very much for everyone coming. I need to head off. Need to try and get to bed early tonight. All right. Well, I'll keep you all. I won't keep you around longer. Have a great evening. Have a good night. Let's catch up next week. Is this live stream? I think this is my 100th live stream officially. I think. I have to double check. Anyway, woohoo, cha-ching. Yeah. Does Drupal have any kiosk projects? Do you mean like where you can display, where you have those kiosks where it's like a touch screen and like a museum and all that, and then you can do a touch screen and stuff like that? I don't think Drupal has that stuff. You have to but you can build that out yourself. Yeah. Yeah, so I do believe this is 100th live stream anyway. I should have done something special for it. No. 100, so over, what is that, 100 hours? You know, every live stream's gone over an hour, so it's over 100 hours of content. My God. Oh, thank you. Congrats, yeah. I do want to start, I'm going to think about, well, what can I say? How can I say this? I do want to think about, doing other live streams about how Drupal integrates with other systems, not just Drupal. Because I do think there's a lot to now being a web developer. In this day and age, right now, I wouldn't call myself a Drupal developer, because you just have to touch so many other parts of things. And that sounded wrong. I mean, you need to use other systems, and Drupal's just a small part of it. I mean, if you build a headless setup, Drupal's such a tiny part. But yeah, anyway, 100. But yeah, to answer your question about the kiosk stuff, yeah, I mean, I don't think there's any any specific functionality available or any modules for that, but I have heard of people using Drupal for like building out functionality like that, where you have like a kiosk, where you have like a tablet, and it's just a browser into a Drupal site. But that just really comes down to just designing the look and feel of the Drupal site and making it look like a kiosk or kiosk-y type of design. But yeah, we'll take a look at this. I do like this stuff. We do need to bump this up. Oh, look at this. I do like this little this actually shot up. What was that? Last year, and then this year, why has it gone up? Oh, I probably know why it's gone up. I don't know. No, probably somebody's put it in some type of CI/CD system and it's just pumping it out, just building it 20 times. But this is very important. Like Drupal really needs this, and it's got it. So I'll be curious to have it play with it. NPM, yeah. Anyway, cool. All right, take care. See you all later. And for any F1 fans, it's the Japanese Grand Prix this weekend, and then no races for the whole of April. It's a summer break. Anyway, all right, cheers. Take care.